I've worked for a variety of different chemical companies over the years. I've worked for some of the safest companies in the whole world, such as DuPont, and companies that are far less than safe. I won't mention any of those names. DuPont's safety culture was so strong mainly because it started out as an explosives manufacturer. And you cannot manufacture explosives unless you're extremely safe. So I would say DuPont is by far the safest company I've ever worked for. I wish they were all that safe. I've worked for some companies that were so unsafe that you didn't even dare mention how unsafe they were for fear of being terminated. After all, Texas is a right to be fired state. Just to give you an idea of how unsafe some companies are, this will be the subject of a future episode, where there was a gas leak on the world's largest vertical loop reactor. A gas leak on the world's largest vertical loop reactor. And what does the shift supervisor do? He orders non-essential personnel out of a blast-resistant control building and out into the street to head to an evacuation site. I got to tell you, I was terrified. Terrified walking down that street, knowing that the world's largest reactor had a gas leak. I kept thinking of that explosion that happened on October 23rd of 1989. But to make matters worse, you won't believe what happened. The operations manager, the person second only in command to the plant manager, jumps into the car, starts the engine, and drives off. Those of us who saw it were astounded. That's the kind of thing that'll get you fired. In fact, nobody is even allowed into the chemical plant without watching a safety video that makes it totally clear to them that they better not run their engine while there's an emergency of any kind. If they hear the alarm, they're to pull over to the side of the road, kill the engine, and leave the key in the ignition just in case emergency personnel need to move the vehicle. But the engine must be dead in any emergency, much less a gas leak emergency in the world's largest vertical loop reactor. And of all people, to have the operations manager violate that sacred rule was absolutely astounding to those of us who witnessed it. I've had nightmares about that ever since. To this very day, nightmares about that incident. You bet it caused post-traumatic stress disorder. Only a fool wouldn't pay attention to something like that. But again, that's the subject of a future episode. We'll go into that in great detail. And we'll see if Mr. Stan Sehested is as honest as he was about this DowTherm incident. Let's hope so. There's a lot more to talk about on Deadly Texas. Population, rest in peace. So stay tuned. Deadly Texas. Population, rest in peace.